if you could take the flavors of your heritage, pair them with the best local produce, and build a restaurant that feels refined but still runs lean? Chef Chetan Shetty did just that with Passerine after years in Michelin-starred kitchens, and today he's sharing how to design menus, manage costs, and build a team that makes your dream restaurant sustainable. Welcome back to the Restaurant Incubator. My name is Brandon Sharp. I'm the host here. As an executive chef, I earned 7 Michelin stars, and now as a chef owner, I have 3 restaurants here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Chetan Shetty's culinary journey spans continents and Michelin stars. He trained for over a decade at Indian Accent, one of the most celebrated modern Indian restaurants in the world, before leading Rania in Washington, D.C., where his cooking earned himself a Michelin star. Now, he's taken all of those lessons and poured them into his own project, Passerine, in New York's Flatiron District, a tasting menu restaurant where South Asian traditions meet green market produce and efficiency meets elegance. At Passerine, Chetan isn't just cooking. He's engineering a system, sourcing smart, keeping food costs in check, buying from the green market, training a lean team, and building a concept that adapts to the seasons. For aspiring chefs and future restaurant owners, his story is a masterclass in turning big culinary ideas into operations that actually work. On this episode of the Restaurant Incubator, we'll dig into the real world playbook, how to test menu items before they tank your labor budget, how to build smart, how to balance aesthetics with ergonomics, how to build a resilient team culture, and how to know when you're really ready to grow.
Oh, I'm not there yet, I feel. Like you're never there.
You're never there.
Yeah, the world just keeps on evolving. So for us, Passerine, I think it's always, so New York has been, I think, my second love of my life, I feel.
Uh-huh.
It's just like there's so much happening. It's every
Yeah.
single day. And then for me, cooking was more the thought that like the learning never ends, you know. And I'm
Right.
very curious to see new things. And New York being that hub of that whole cultural hotpot. So like you just see everything happening over here. So when we came, so I opened up Indian Accent here in New York. That's how I got introduced to New York to open this.
Okay.
It was a challenge because what worked in India did not work here. You know, how
Yeah.
you think it might work, it's not the same. Then everything is different. People, your clientele are different. How your work is different. Work ethics becomes different. What the produce that you see, it's not the same. Now you're importing Indian produce from India, so it's like now the whole shift happens. Like now you need to start working what's locally available, and
Mhm.
those are the things you haven't worked in that comfort level. So like you're still training yourself to adapt to what the current situation is. So that's how my introduction to New York was. But then again, when you start dining out, you just see how different it is, what the
Mhm.
perspective of dining is, how you look at food. And so for me, that's how I fell in love with New York. Like the chaos just brings me peace, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Something's wrong with me. But that's how it is. So I left New York to come. Like I wanted to find myself in a way to understand, because when you work for a chef for so long, your style and your cooking is basically the replica of him. So whatever you do, you just start to see that it's his thing, his signature coming out from you. So I had to build my own way of doing things, or like I have to find what I'm good at and how I do it. And the only way was to, like, now since I'm in the States and in New York can keep you pretty much occupied. Like your life, 6 years goes by like this.
Uh-huh.
So during pandemic, I just took a break and I just went to DC. I just felt like if things don't work out, I can run back to New York.
Mhm.
That's how I took it, and it worked in DC. DC was great. Got an opportunity to open up a space that had shut down due to pandemic.
Mhm.
The owner wanted to do some modern Indian, but again, it's very different. Like people have a perspective of what modern Indian is, and they want that, and then you
Yeah.
have to literally educate them. Like, are you sure? Like, this is not how it's not just be garnishing. It's like a whole thought process,
Uh-huh.
because that's what I thought. Like when you say modern, you just can't be doing the same thing, but just like with the wheels and make it beautiful. That's not what it is. It's just like taking a complete new outlook or your way of doing things, like just what you learned and things like that. Um, Yeah, I went to DC. I met a really good sous chef over there. He came in from a really good Michelin background, so there was a lot of cultural exchange, food exchange, and we just started putting things out there. Failure or success was not even the point at that point. Like when you I think it's just that young thought that when you go out, you're just doing it all out. You don't even look at the numbers type situation.
Mhm.
uh, I was good with numbers. I knew the number game, so like I know how it works. But
Mhm.
for me, the whole part was to learn the culinary part of it. Like, let's start doing this and that. Uh, it's again, city becomes very important when. So that's like I think those are the key points when you're doing anything new or opening a restaurant. Like trying
Mhm.
to understand the city first. Like, is it
Yeah.
New York? Is it DC? It has a totally different vibe. The clientels are again in the same perspective. Like New York clientels have a different mindset when they go out dining. And again, how the city is. Like New York, it's a big city, small apartments, super small kitchen. No one's cooking. You work
Yeah.
6 days, you want to go out. You don't want to be stuck in that box. That's how
Right.
New York functions. So like so many restaurants because you have options out there. DC different. DC is like no one lives in DC. Everyone lives the outskirts. Why would you live in a box when you get a backyard when you live in Virginia and all those places?
Yeah.
People cook a lot. They have time and all those things. So if they're dining, they're taking their time. They're trying to. It's more of an investment type situation when they really put thoughts into it. New York, you just walk and you eat type situation.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, it was learning for us. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, looking at your address, it just struck me that you are, almost next door to Gramercy Tavern. You're across the street from Marivana. You're around the corner from Cosme. So is that because? And I've always thought of that as being like a very special part of New York when it comes to dining. Is there an energy to that neighborhood?
It is. It is. Yeah, I just feel that we just got lucky in a sense because like you have Gramercy next to you, you have restaurant next to you. So this one particular lane has Italian. We have a Thai restaurant that just opened. You have a
Uh-huh.
Japanese restaurant next to us. So like you come here and you have all the options available. That's how it's. You don't even need to leave this lane. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's good. Like you can it's just like you get a lot of clientele that come in to see Gramercy, but then they see this, oh, what's the small place next to it, and
Mhm.
then they have those plans. So like I
Yeah.
think the whole notion is to get your customers in one time, and that's it. So for me it becomes very important that we do what we do every single time in a perfect harmony that we wanted. So like the guest coming here first time or like the third time, it needs to be flawlessly executed. And I've always made sure to tell my front of the house and everyone that like the service is the biggest part of it. Like for me, restaurant is more of an experience. The food is like 30% of it type situation. A lot of thing goes when you give an experience to guests when it comes to a restaurant. I feel that the food is like the 30%. How you
30%.
how you meet him, how you
Uh-huh.
greet them, if there's a birthday, do how you try to make that guest feel so special when he comes in. That's like I think the experience is all that matters. I've
Yeah.
been to places that have great food but the experience was like the service was not that good, or like you feel that it was like you were not avoided, what do you call, people you were not taken care of in a way.
Mhm.
So that's a place I would not go, even if with an
Mhm.
average food, but they took really care. I would really go back there because just being felt special is what we always try want. That's how I
Yeah.
see it. So yeah, like food is great. Like food, of course, like it needs to be where it needs to be, and that's again me. But then the front of the house is like I feel the most important part because they are the one. It's the interaction. So they
Yeah.
are literally replicating me and my service and what we teach our hospitality. So that's how I think that's how I always trained, and that's how I always strongly felt about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
looking at your website, I mean, it's incredible. You and April and the pastry chef and two like blue chip. It just looks like a mega horsepower team. So, do you mind going back in time a little bit and telling us like how that team came together?
Oh yeah, it's funny. So April is a wine director, and she was the general manager opening the space. I met her at Indian Accent. She was the sommelier.
Mhm.
And I knew I had to marry her because I can't afford to have her. And we always knew like we're gonna open restaurant, and she's great with hospitality. Like I, I cannot stop talking to her. That's how I do feel. And so yeah, so she has a great vibe. She knows her wine well. We've lived together for now 10 years. That went very quick. But she knows my style now. So like I don't even need. So I would need to just tell her what I'm cooking and what the flavor profile is gonna be, and she can just pair a wine then and there on the phone. So that's a very good thing that I've got. So like I don't need her to be present physically anywhere. I can just tell her. So April has been working at Indian Accent. She worked at Atera. She worked at Juni by Sean Herget, restaurant at Meadowwoods. She was a general manager for June by Sean Brock in Nashville. So she has a big pedigree, and we knew what we are good at. Like we really knew that. For some reason, I never had that strong sense that I'm good at it because I was always shy type thing. But after doing my restaurant in DC, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. Like I just need an opportunity type situation.
Yeah.
He always had that confidence that I was good. So funny enough, we met Manish when I was doing Rania, and then we got back together. So after DC, I went to Chicago to work because DC was a bit too slow paced for me. I was missing New York, but I wanted to see some other city. Chicago, went there. I did not work out with the previous owner, but then I worked at a Mexican restaurant called Cariños that got a Michelin in 2024. Um, that was a really good working experience, understanding how Mexican cuisine works, what it is, and different ingredients. It just adds to your cooking style. So, like, we learned a lot from there. Manish reached out. He wanted me to change the menu for Sona, and I was not interested because Sona was someone else's type situation. Um, the restaurant did not have the character that I wanted to, portray out there. So making a menu that's very different and having a different background just did not feel well. So we talked about it. We said like this is not my style. The ambience does not work out with what I wanted to do. So 3 months in, got the whole place. We changed everything. Like it was fun. It was stressful. We had our own personal opinions on things. Went to and fro. Sat on every chair. Made sure the paint work was good. I was here every single day trying to chip and complain like what's not working, what's this and this. Like yeah, had a it's really tough because when you look at it, like an interior designer looks at a restaurant as an interior designing, like he has like a different concept. He's
Right.
getting like $10,000 lamps. I'm like, it's a restaurant. No, like my kitchen budget is 20,000 for the entire thing. We can't afford this. So we had to, pull her down, make her understand what it is. And then again, with the service point of view, we wanted to have everything functional. For me, like that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like anything and everything should always have like at least two functions or three. It just cannot be aesthetics. Like add one more to make some sense out of it. It's a restaurant. Like everything should have that storage space, some hidden space, and it should also look good. We had curtains before. We changed it. We wanted to highlight wines because it's not a lot of Indian restaurants that do really good wines that pair well. And since I had April with me, we knew that it will come out well. There was no questions about it. But then we have to display it out. Like for me, the whole thing is what you see is what you can sell. So if people don't see that whole thing, it will be difficult to just sell wine. So we had this whole wine display, just empty bottles, but at least visually it's there. So like those are the some of the cues that we had. And the space was too big, and then it's also the understanding that a bigger space is very hard to fill in because a 200 cover restaurant, even if it's 50%, like even if you have 100 people in, it still looks empty. It becomes a big challenge to bring that vibe in. So we had to just shorten it out. We had to spread the space into a living space. In India, you call it a living room. Well, once you enter the house, you have the couch, you have those coffee tables where your guests would come in, have some snacks, and then you'll have chats and all those things. And that's how we bought that concept in. Like we have this space that has like low couch and tables. You can come in early if you have a reservation at like 6. Come at 5:30, have a drink. We have a separate bar menu, so you can enjoy those nibbles, and then you can proceed. I feel that's how New York dining is for me. At least it was
Yeah.
Before you go out, have a cocktail, and then you go for your dinner. And after you're done, come out, have a cocktail, and go back home.
Right.
So that's for me. That's what I thought New York dining is. So like that's how we went with it, and it really paid off well. Like if we have to turn the tables out and the guest is still occupied, we would just offer them free desserts and bring them out. So
Sure.
like, oh, we got the space now. So like you need to be really smart about how you're trying to plan that whole layout. If it's small, really works out well. If it's big, now you have to break that tone into making that it's not super big restaurant that it cannot be filled in, because that's the challenge. Like if it a small restaurant, you would always want to have like people lining out instead of just walking in and it's always available type situation. Like I think that's how I feel that it makes more sense, because visually you see that, oh, there's a line, what is it, let me see.
Yeah.
And then, oh, you can't get a reservation, now you're trying to book it online. The hype that it creates. So yeah, and again, you're living in a different generation. It's not like a word of mouth is good, but that time has passed, it seems. Now it's like you need to be out there. It needs to be loud, but like people need to see you on Instagram, TikTok, something
Yeah.
to make that buzz.
You still need to be showing that there's a super high demand for what you're offering.
I know it's a different world. I don't come from this world, but yeah, that's how it is.
Well, with the big space that you described, I wanted to ask you about the private dining room. It says y'all can see like 28 to 30 people there, and I
Yeah.
think that a lot of aspiring restaurateurs don't understand how cost efficient a private dining room can be, even in fine dining restaurant like yours. So, would you talk about that a little bit? Just about, you said you're a numbers guy. Just tell us a little bit about the economics of why having a private dining room is cost efficient, even paying New York rent prices.
Yeah, because the whole thing is like if you have a space that it's only so many tables and chairs that you can put if you have a bigger space. Now, the whole thing is to understand that you need to have parties and events to fill that extra space that you have. You just can't keep on putting tables and expect that 200 covers can be turned into 300. The whole problem is you can't fill those spaces in that. So, whole thing about having a private dining room is just like it gives that first the charges are very different. It becomes very so if it's just like having a set menu type format. You know what the guests are coming and eating. You know how the pacing is to be done. You know what the labor that you will be needing for it. So it
Yeah.
becomes much more easy. Your prep is done pre-hand. With the thing is like I've always loved chef's tasting compared to a la carte, because it's so preset. You only cook as much as you need it type situation. The wastage is so low. You can control the whole flow of it. There's the allergies and aversions are already predetermined. So like it's much more easier to give a really good dining experience. But it just does not work everywhere. So like if it's a small space, that works. If it's big, you just can't do tasting for the entire place. And again, it's the cost part. Like people don't want to pay that. And I get it. It's fine. So you have the a la carte menu too. So that's for me, what when I look at a private PDR or private dining room is that you can if it's a 28 people space, you can rent it out, or you can give it out for 10, 15, 20, 25, a small party that people want to have without disturbing the entire restaurant in that same process. And it becomes a two different restaurant in a way if you look at it. And this you can always pre-book it in advance. There's the availability is again slot based. So that's how I see it. And again, the costs are very limited because you know what you're doing. There's no wastage. You will always have a private dining different menu for it. So everything is a pre-planned way of doing things. A pre-planned way is like the most easier way to work, because you can control your labor, your food, you know how it functions. There's more flexibility in handling that situation. So for me, that's how private dining works. Like it's always you know what you're doing type situation.
Well,
A la carte is like you don't know what the guest is gonna order. So no matter if you sell oysters that day or not, you'll still have to prep. You know, it's like 60 people coming in, you'll still have to prep at least. When you have private dining room, you know what they're eating. So this is it. There's no wastage in it. You're cooking, and it's a very easy flow of service that you can get. So I guess if you have that space, go for it. All you should always go for it.
yeah, for sure. Well, you talked a little bit about the interior design process and how you think about the functionality of different elements, furniture, different spaces in the restaurant. Do you
Yeah.
remember any of the other like specific trade offs between ergonomics and aesthetics that you had to make? Because I'm sure there were some. I mean, because I always look at a restaurant design like a grumpy old line cook, like, is the walk-in door going to hit somebody who's walking by and that sort of thing. Was Passerine a second generation restaurant space?
It was so this was a previous restaurant called Sona. If you go online and you see Sona,
Oh, right. Okay, you mentioned that before, right? Yep.
yeah, if you look at those design and this, it's completely different, like very different. Um, for me, when I look at a restaurant, I'm a very minimalist guy. Like for me, my life is like I can put it in a suitcase, I can walk out. That's how I need my life. I can't hold to things. Furnitures have not been a big part of my life because I'm like me, my suitcase, my motorcycle. That's it. I'm
Uh-huh.
that's my life. So I've always been a very minimalist, and I would always love empty spaces rather than crowding it out.
Mhm.
Um, Maximalist is not my way of doing it, but in this part, we did do it. What we've tried to, so the previous restaurant had, for me, the whole thing is like, for me, every square of footage should add just value to the restaurant. So when
Uh-huh.
it comes to uh, furnitures, we try to make sure that we're not we're not buying too expensive products that does not add too much value to the restaurant. Like a furniture, like chairs are important. These are important. The bag holder, how much do you want to spend on it? Does it even add? Can you get that money back? Type situation. So wallpapers. Do you want to paint? Do you want to have wallpaper? Okay, wallpaper works out good. Painting costs us very different, and then the upkeep is very different. Wallpapers are very easily available. Again, the time frame to let the wallpaper to paint and let it dry, get second coat, third coat. Let's go with wallpaper. Wallpaper, the variety that you get is so much better, in that same sense. Then we had, what was the thing? Uh, it's very important when you're building a restaurant, like the interior part of it, that you will always need to understand how the service flow is. Because I guess designers at times they tend to forget that this is also a service space. They would rather want to make it look pretty than to make it more accessible type situation. So me and my wife, we always did like, oh, the bar is here, this table. Okay, this would does can you see anything from there? Like, is it visible? If you're sitting over here, is it the worst place in the restaurant? What are you looking at? And are you in a center spot where it feels that everyone's looking what you're doing type situation? And if the server has a tray in his hand, can he easily start dropping things? So like you will really have to mock it, and see how many steps can you reduce in particular service. I think for me the whole thing is like you need to reduce the steps that you take for everything. Like if you're cooking, everything should be in your hands reach. When you're doing service, the flow should be smooth, effortlessly. You cannot collide with each other. If you're opening a door, instead of opening it up, it should be sliding so that you don't need to open and people don't need to stop when what they're doing. So like those are all the small factors that come into play. What is that McDonald's movie, that the Ray Kroc movie? Do you remember?
Yeah, with Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, do you see when they were planning the kitchen? Like, that's the best movie you can see when you're
Uh-huh.
designing the kitchen. Like, you need to make it super, super, super efficient. Like
Yeah.
everything should be thoughtful. So that's how it should be. Like, you'll always have to make sure that if you can run this place with the minimum labor possible. Like
Mhm.
how much can you reduce it down? And to put those things into perspective, how many steps can you delete from what you already imagined? Because at the end of the day, you need to understand that you cannot keep on a restaurant is, at the end of the day, it's a business. You can't have more cost adding to what your sales are comparatively. So reducing that just gives you a better profit value in that same sense. Like
Mhm.
love affair and everything is all great, but it's a business.
Still a business. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot go dreaming into la la land. You need to come. Now I've seen it, like
Yeah.
people lose it, like they buy expensive things and then the restaurant shuts down because like it's like the spending is so much that the recovery becomes not impossible, like hard struggle. So no, that's very important to understand that it's also a
Yes.
business. You have people, and if they are not paid better, they it does not make sense for them to work.
Huh. Yeah. Well, when it comes to, so if I were to go into your kitchen and ask one of your cooks to describe the culture at Passerine, how would they describe the kitchen culture to me?
Oh, it's a very funny question. Uh, what should it be? I guess thoughtful would be one thing.
Uh-huh.
Thoughtful is a word that I've always used every single time, everything and anything and everything. Because thoughtful just means like you need to have perspective on things and understand how it adds more value. Anything that you throw should always be thought, can we reuse it or not? So for me, when I'm hiring at kitchen, I'm not looking at your talent part. I'm more of a looking of how what your energy is, how you
Mhm.
feel about working. I've just met people that have talented people that don't have that right attitude of doing things. I would rather have an empty glass and I can fill it, according to the place that I work, rather than having a glass that's already full that I cannot fill anything in. For me, the work I try to take a lot of the word or work of my staff, because for me the whole thing is like I need them to be focused on just executing the last steps. If we I try to do most of the work. It's not a very good way of doing things, but I'm not there yet, so like, I'm fine
Mhm.
with it. I enjoy what I do. But the whole thing is like I training is the most important thing that I always understand that people need to be go through. The cost of training is something that the business needs to always incur, and you always have to train, and you should always train in a sense that if the person leaves, you're good with it. You can still hire someone, and again, it's the same thing again and again. I feel that you cannot be mad about people leaving. It's like that's the nature of business. The whole thing is that you need to build a system around it, that if you leave, this is how it is, you can train and then move on. So coming from an Indian restaurant, that's not my core ethics, how it started from. But working with other people and other restaurants, it just made me realize like this is how it functions. This makes more sense. Writing down your recipes to the salt is very important. That's what helps me, because like I just tell a new guy coming in, like, let's start reading the recipe and start making things. If there's any issue that you see while reading it, let me know. Don't just stop. Don't do extra steps. Like, let me know. I'm always available. You always have to keep calm in your kitchen. You can't be mad, because it does not help in any situations anyway. Like I've been there when the chefs used to throw pans, plates, and even at that point, I always felt that that was a really stupid move. Like, did not prove anything, except you can't control your emotion. That's the only thing it proves. So for me, it's just like I just talk. uh I try to not lose. I don't lose it anytime. I get angry, but in my mind I'm throwing a pan, but it's just inside. I can't do it physically. I don't want to do it. It doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
So like you need to portray that personality to your staff so that they don't do it to their logo. It does not flow in that same sense. Rest, I think, if you're very accommodating, people are good to you. My staff has always been good to me. They have been very open to me if there's any issues, because I tell them like you can just tell it to me, and I'll try to figure it out or try to handle that situation as much as I could. If I cannot, I'll let you know. But I think hospitality is not a super big, super great job in a sense, like the pay wise. So my whole notion comes like I'll try to accommodate as much as things that I can to make your life easy in that same sense. I get it that you spend a lot of time. The pay is like at minimum pay and a bit more. But yeah, so I think I try to keep my staff as happy as possible in those terms. Do I let my standards down? No, but that's also the thing, that the compromise is like I'll make your life easy, but for me, you cannot drop the standards, you cannot drop the techniques, you cannot drop the procedures of doing things. Stay on top of it, and I'll like you and me will go very well with everything. So but everyone understands that thing, that I don't let standards down, the procedures, or there's no shortcuts.
Mhm.
If you don't, if you can't do it, let me know. I'll tell that we don't have this dish available for that night. It's fine. No one's dying. It's
Yeah. It's just dinner, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's food. Like it's only you can fantasy about this place like so much. Like after
dinner.
that, it becomes unreal. Then you're like, oh yeah.
Right.
But
Well, you said that you scale out your recipes like down to the amount of grams of salt that are in there. What are some other systems that are what are maybe two other systems that are super important to you that you build around people because that they're that they maybe they'll last for 3 months, maybe they'll last for a year and a half, but that your staff is going to turn over at some point.
uh, I think in my kitchen, so this is just this has been just a big learning curve. So like when I started with Indian accent, it was all Indians working with me. When I moved to DC, I could not get any Indian guy. That did not happen. And even if I did, the wages that they were asking for was unreal. So then we had to come up with systems, start working on measurements, metrics. Everything need to be scaled down because like if it's him or any other guy, the taste should not go change. It will change. For me, I know what's gone wrong. For the guest perspective, he will never realize the change. For me, I know that okay, he did not cook it for so many times. I know he took a shortcut something. But the difference will be 18, 19 situation. It won't be like from 10 to 20. That's not a wide big difference that we get. But still we try to bring them like we cannot have that difference, not even one day. Like let's do it again. Let's train it again. If it's wrong, that will go like not wrong. Like if it's not there, it will be staff food. Like the staff is gonna enjoy it tonight, but we cannot give it up. It's just like when you have those values, or like when you just worked in that thing, it just becomes hard to get it out. Like I don't want to serve it. I cannot serve it. That's how it becomes. I think for me, weighing everything, I tell people that. Uh, I don't try to go with visual cues. It becomes difficult because my visual cue is very different from what the guy is thinking. So it's like becomes very easy to start weighing things out. Like when it comes to meat, uh, he might feel it's big, I might feel it's small. So like let's just weigh it out. Big or small, it's the weight is the same thing. So like that's great. Let's do it. Having all your recipes written down is really good. They need to always have that. Second thing is like temperature checking. Like uh, people I guess we so for me the whole thing is because my staff it's not staff turnover is not high. They don't come from a Michelin background or really good restaurant background. I tell that I hire staff if they have two legs and two hands, like let's do it. That's how I hire it. Like as long as you have the right mindset, I can teach you. I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of patience. so for me it's like everything that you cook, you need to always put the cake tester, temperature, and then it goes out. So it, it's not 100% guarantee. At least you will reach like that 90%. Everything will always be good. The 10%, the 10% margin error is always there. You were not there, went up to meet a guest, and that happened. Whatever it is, but I make sure that they always take the temperature, they always weight things, and they always have the recipes the way followed with instructions. Like uh, it's funny because like my pastry chef when he started out, he gave recipes in a way that he's teaching a chef, and then I had to rub it down and I had to make recipes that I'm teaching a kid or like any new guy. Like it's because in his mind is like, oh, steeping. Yeah, steeping should be done with hot milk, but it's not written. So now this person is doing steeping with a cold milk. Like it's not happening. So like let's put everything down. Like it's just like I think I've heard this or saw this on a meme where a software engineer is trying to tell why coding is very important now. Coding works like it needs to be like from 0 to 1 and then moving ahead. Nothing can be assumed like whisk, but then okay with hand like what whisk with a whisk. Okay, now what direction? So like very baby steps. But the thing is like okay, the baby step just helps you understand that it cannot go wrong. Now, if someone does wrong, like oh, then he should not be in your team. It's like baby steps. If you're doing this wrong, it will take. It's not that you're wrong. It will just take too much of my energy to train you to get to this level, and we want to run. If I'm trying to be there for the steps, it won't help me, and the whole team is waiting now. So that's also some hard steps that you'll have to take. I think understanding that what person is that you have to let go of is very understanding, and not having anything as your favorite. Like I do have favorite, but can I let go of my favorite? Yeah, in a heartbeat. If he's done something wrong or like it was not acceptable, and and the time comes that you'll have to let go of this guy because it's wrong. It will set a wrong example. I'm always open up to letting people go, but with the understanding that this is what happens, and I can keep you because then this will follow a lawsuit, or how my staff looks at you, or this is unacceptable what you did. Anything, you should always be open to let go of people if it does not work out. But to do that, you'll always have to have that very hardcore standards and all those recipes set, so that you're not like, oh, he does dumplings, only he knows how to do dumplings. He knows how to fold it. No, bro, I know how to fold it. I'll let go of you. I'll work this 10 hours. I'll teach someone. So like I'm
Right.
not stuck in that position.
Yeah.
But I think it comes only if you're a chef. If you're an owner, that's not possible. It's just too much of a craft.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I worked with a pastry chef in Napa Valley named Paul Lemieux at Auberge du Soleil, who he used to write his pastry recipes, very specifically, all scaled out in grams, but with no instructions because he didn't want anybody to be able to read the recipe. He wanted them always to get a demo first, and so that was the whole point. Like he would send me a sheaf of recipes. I'm like, well, what now? And he said, well, I'll be there to train you on them next week. I'm like, okay, because I thought that was an interesting method for making sure that things are done correctly, so that they are whisking in the right direction, so that they are steeping in the right temperature. So,
I know
anyway,
because like my pastry chef just assumed that they know what it is.
yeah,
Marahinga.
that's dangerous.
No, because like my pastry, like this is a reality. Like you won't get a talented person with the money that you can afford.
Yeah, no. You
So
can't just
you
send a recipe and type in Anglaise method and expect, a kid off
yeah.
the street to nail it.
No. So like
Right.
my girls, everyone that's worked here has not been like now at this point the girl who's doing pastry, she just knows what we do. Nothing
Mhm.
out of it. But the
Right.
whole thing is, it's fine that like I'm not expecting you to make new desserts because I'm not paying you in that same sense to have that
Right.
expectation. But I'm paying you just you can follow the recipes and get that great product out. And she does. She really puts a heart in it, and she
Mhm.
always knows like, oh, this flour is wrong. Like I've met so many good people working in restaurant that don't come from the restaurant industry. They just
Uh-huh.
love what they're doing, and like they really care like what direction the flour is. Like one of my line cookers, like, chef, this flower does not look good. Please get me blue. Like, bro, I'm giving you a knife. Tomorrow you're getting a knife. Like, no, it just makes me feel good when people put that heart in it. So yeah. And also it's like I feel that some of the chefs they have the fear that what if they take the pictures of my recipe and then they move out? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can't stick to it. Like you have to move on type situation. Like you
Mhm.
can't stick to one recipe throughout your life. So like your whole effort is to start moving ahead, refining it. So even if the guy comes again and sees, he knows that the recipe changed, and the recipe changed only for the better, or you even let go of the recipe. Now you're coming up with new things. So I'm always like people have told like as a chef you should share recipes, but do they actually? Should you actually? But like I'm like yeah, like ask me, I'll give it. Like I have new things happening. Like I go out to restaurants, eat something, and I think like, oh, this reminds me of this Indian thing, but this is much better. But then if I combine it together, it will come out much more better. But it will come in my direction the way I want. So like the whole thing is like if you're a chef, the whole thing is that you have to start creating things and start moving ahead. The recipes that you've created will always be there as a background for you, and you should not be shy away about giving your recipes out. Not like to any other. If someone has come and he wants to take it, like yeah, go for it. Like
Mhm.
it's a good recipe. Try this out. Like that's how I give it. Like I give my juniors like if they want a nihari recipe, I'm like yeah, this is my nihari. Try it. Maybe it works out. It's good because
Yeah.
recipes are like 70% of the framework. The techniques are the rest, and how you do it is all the thing. You just reading cannot get you through. You always need to know how it was done. Like whisking it is great, but like what temperature it was whisked at, what big bowl, small bowl, what the aeration was. That will always be that practical part of it that you will have to get it through your hands. For me, the whole thing is like recipes are good, but I want you to show me. I want to be. I'm a very physical person in a sense. Like I need to do it once at least. I
Mhm.
can't understand things if I just look at the recipe. I need to like whisk it myself to understand how thick it was, how thin it was, what the consistency, density, the temperature, and all those things. I need to feel it. I just can't read things and do it. I might come close. I won't be perfect at it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that
No,
has been
same
all.
same here, and that's one of my favorite things about cooking is using all five senses to bring something to life. Well, when it comes to the pastry chef and y'all's collaboration, did he have an extensive background in Indian food or Indian desserts, or did y'all have to come together on a bunch of stuff and you teach him some things and he respond with some techniques?
No, so we forgot about the pastry chef while saying where we met him. So April met him at Sean Brock in Nashville. Sean Brock's
Okay.
June. the restaurant in Nashville. He was a pastry chef and he was designing his pastries. And when we opened up this space, I'm not good at pastries because I don't think people understand that pastries and baking is very different than like what your savory thing is. It's a whole complete different uh, place. So desserts has not been my strongest point. Can I make it? Yes, it will be average at best. That according to me at least. If people love it, that's still like I don't care on that. And like for me, I know it's average.
Yeah.
But we wanted something that's much more better and again thoughtful, like what I wanted or like how it needs to be. When we collaborated with Michael, he did not do Indian desserts. April loved his desserts. He is gluten free, so
Mhm.
a lot of his things comes out gluten free. That's because of him not being able to consume gluten products. So he was gluten free by nature. So it was very easy for us to, work with him because April knew him. April had that confidence, and I never doubted what April. So we got together. I told him like, okay, gulab jamun has one of the dessert is just like fried milk dough. Has been something of my childhood, like where I come from, and I think everyone in India loves it. It just depends like how it was presented, how it was made, and I told him that what it is. So we just added a more. I told him like what my issue with that dessert is. Like I think you eat everything, but then there's always something that you think like it's great, but. And then I told him like it's great, but it's super dense. Like it's super dense. It just feels very one tone when it eats. So I had to get the dessert from him, show him like the gulab jamun that you get in the city is bad anyway, but I still had to tell him like what the tense actually means. Uh,
Mhm.
it goes two ways. Few people love that part of it, the graininess of the product. I said like I love it, but like not so much in a sense because it just makes it super super dense. You can't eat more of it or how it feels. And what I wanted that same flavor, same bite, bit more lighter, so that it does not feel like I'm eating like some dessert that goes super one tone, and also to give some contrast to it. And that's what Passerine cooking was all about. Like it's Indian cooking, but a bit of contrast to it. So everything has that element of sourness, some acid, some crunch, some bite, some bitterness, and so I had to let him know like what my cooking style is and how what my favorite dishes were or things like that, what works, and then we were just going to and fro with things like three
Mhm.
desserts up and down, and that's how we try to come up with all those dishes like what works. We have Gramercy Tavern, we have Union Square next to us. The scene keeps on changing, the fresh availability of the product, and all those things. And then, yeah, it was more of telling him, giving him the direction of what Indian desserts are. I told him very straightforward Indian desserts are not good
Mhm.
in a way that they are very super one toned. It's
Yeah.
not, you don't call them desserts in India, you call them sweets
Okay.
because it's just like having a block of chocolate. Like it's great, but it's just like chocolate, chocolate, chocolate throughout.
Yeah.
No contrast in that
Mhm.
same sense. So that's what I told him. Like it's not called desserts, it's called sweets. They are always there in display and they're sitting there for a while in the sense like that's how they came into existence. The shelf life needed to be there, so the sugar content was high, the density in that you can't have eggs in there, and so the whole story and how that food is, but
Mhm.
why we need it here. uh, at Indian restaurants you don't, desserts are not something that you look forward to. Like, oh, I'm looking because they've one tone. That's how it's. And for me, the whole thing is like a dessert is the finale of your dining experience. If
Mhm.
it starts out great, it needs to end out good too. So for that, that's what I portrayed to him, and I wanted the desserts to be that same, alignment. Like, it needs
Yeah.
to be great, soft. After even having this, you can go out and have some drinks. Like that's the feeling that I want. I don't want them to like feel heavy or overly sweet or things like that. You really need to give proper, again, like the software development, basic instructions, like to the point that he understands it. And then it became easy with him working. And a lot of gluten free. Again, it's a different world. People don't consume gluten, they are vegan
Yeah.
and all those things. We need to accommodate them. Like where else would they go? I don't have
Right.
anything about it. Like it's a challenging thing. Like let's do it type situation.
Well, I imagine that. So, in maybe a similar way that composed desserts, in the European tradition, aren't, completely contiguous with traditional Indian cooking. Maybe the wines of Europe and North and South America aren't part of the traditional Indian dining experience as well. So, I'm curious, what are you already said that you can get on the phone and have your wine director pair wines with you just by telling her what you're making. What are some eureka moments that you want your guests to have when it comes to pairing traditional, maybe classic, maybe blue chip wines with the food you're serving?
Oh yeah, it's just like uh, I think the notion has been there for so long that wines don't go well with Indian food because of the spice, and it's like half or like 25% true, I guess. In a sense, like not all wines go good with Indian wines, not all
Hmm.
French wines go good with Indian wines. So I think the wine part would be more of April because like I'm not very good at it. My palate is like so gone eating spicy food. Like
Yeah.
I can say it's a good wine. Now if you tell
Uh-huh.
me to start finding the notes, I'm like, bro, it's gone. It's like I can appreciate. I love this wine. Now I just can't find that small nuances. Like I come from a background that's like super punchy. Like what you're eating. Like it's really good. Can you like because she tastes food and she's like, oh, there's cinnamon, there's this. I'm like, can you taste it? Like, can you know it? I just know it's really good. I have
Yeah.
no clue what you're talking about. And she's right. Like she's right 100% on that part. Like she knows all the nuances, right? Because her taste buds are so subtle. It takes that small point and it's catching it. Mine
Uh-huh.
are like dead type situation. And I did punchy things. So like no, but like she knows those things, and her wine pairing, her pairing, her wine pairing has been so much appreciated with clientele that they
Hmm.
come in so many times. We tend to have wine pairings with a tasting menu and non-alcoholic pairings too, but a lot of our wine pairings are ahead. It's just not the French wines are not the one that exactly go well with it. That's
Hmm.
that's how much I understand from what she tells me.
Yeah.
She just knows what other countries. We have a Lebanese wine that goes well with it. So like you need to really know the wine. That's the whole thing.
Cool.
You just can't expect that you bring a French wine and it's called because wine is just not about French wine. There's so many countries doing it and really good job about doing it. Again, my food is not super spicy. Is it spice? Yes. I get the way we tell that I get my spice blends from India, not to show off or anything. It's just the realization that making the same blend by using the spices that are sitting in New York, God knows when they came to New York.
Yeah.
Type situation. Like, and again, who's checking the quality? When I go to a market and try to get Guntur chilies, a particular chilies, I'm just getting Guntur chilies. I'm not getting the best type of Guntur chilies. So, like, a cardamom is cardamom for people around. In Kerala, if you go, there's auctioning of cardamom depending on the grade of cardamom. It's a whole different stock market that runs around cardamom. So the difference of understanding a cardamom is not cardamom is like big for me. And so that's the whole point. People that are making spices back home, they have a grading of all those things, and they're trying to get the best product, or like they're trying to cost their end product around that grading system. So for me, it's like yes, it's gonna be expensive. Is it gonna be worth it? 100%, it's gonna be worth it. So like I know where I come from, and I know the spices. I have a guy who does it. I have to tell him like a week in advance that listen, I need these spice blends, and he will start working on it that day, a week in it, and he'll ship it for me. So I get like 7 days fresh spices. Can I get that in New York? I won't. I will never be able to get it.
Hmm.
Things that sit in the shelf, like they're done years ahead. So like what I consume is within 3 months. So the flavors are super fresh. The oils in the
Hmm.
spice blend are super fresh.
Yeah.
So everything that I do has a very not I won't say authentic, but that Indian backbone.
Hmm.
But then after that, the backbone is all I take, and then rest is the whole interpretation of how it works, what works and what doesn't.
Hmm.
uh, I think Indian food is more about knowing how you use the spice blend, and that's it. Then the
Hmm.
techniques that you use, or what it's just you need to make it more better. I think that's the whole thing. Because like it's just those notions. Like growing up, you will always hear, or I would always hear, fresh meat is the best meat. fresh meat, best meat, fresh meat, best meat. And I'm like, no, try aging it. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, fresh meat is best meat if you did not have refrigerator and you weren't living in a cold area. You're living in a tropical place. It's going bad. You can't age it. Here you're in 21st century. You can age it. Aging is just letting it set in a controlled temperature and letting the moisture dry out. So not pork belly, a pork loin is so much better if you let it age for 2 weeks. The
Mhm.
fat starts from rendering as soon as you start cooking it. The meat is firm, it has that flavor to it, bit of funk if you want to go it in that same direction.
Mhm.
So like, why, if I've learned that things, why would I not use it? Like, why am I taking it to my grave,
Yeah.
it becomes pointless. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like people have a notion like it's not authentic, but like I'm not here to do authentic is repeating. It's authentic. I'm like, I'm not interested in repeating. I'm a consumer of authentic. I'll go out and eat if I want to, but
Uh,
then that thing I can order it through home delivery and lose nothing on it. It's the same thing. Butter chicken in a restaurant, I don't want to disgrace butter chicken. Butter chicken is also not an authentic thing. Butter chicken is a modern Indian product for the 19th century, put it that way. So that's the modern Indian version of the 19th century. So you can't say butter chicken is authentic. But again, it's done a decade. So for me, the whole thing is like I just want to do something that we haven't tried. For me, restaurant has always been an experience. If I want to copy paste or just eat a bowl food, I can just get it through home delivery and it loses nothing. It's cooked in the sauce, it's in the sauce, it's sitting in the sauce, you get it in the sauce. I just have to spoon it out. But here, the whole thing is like you can't take it home because it's layered out. It's layered out with an understanding that what goes first, what the layering and how much it's gonna affect it, why do you need to grill it, why do you need to slow cook it, and all those things. So for me, like when people come to Passerine, it's about expecting the one that you have not expected. Like come with an open mind. The flavors are really good. The flavors are very Indian, but then the way we do is it's not. It's totally not. Like I am very big advocate of doing it like the way Indians do. A lot of things are the way it should be done the Indian way. But a
mhm.
lot of things is like you can improve it so much by adding so much textures to it. Like we use combo oil because why not? I have an availability. I can get it over here. I try it, and how I use it is again different. Where I use
Mhm.
it is again different. Shiro dashi works out well. Bonito flakes works out well. Thai fish sauce works out well. So simple example, doing a fish curry. Back home, my mom would cook in a clay pot, onions, tomatoes, and coconut milk, and everything. And once the curry is simmering, she'll drop the fishes. The curry has that really fishy flavor to it. Uh, the meat, overdone. Now I can say it's overdone. At that
Yeah.
point, I had no courage to say that. But anyway, because like it's been simmering there
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
FCG. Uh,
Forever.
is it good? Yes, it's good. But now you understand. Oh, that's why it felt dry. It's still in the sauce, but still it felt dry because it was old. I get it.
Yeah.
But now I don't need to do it the same way, right? It's my mom did authentic Indian. You can, in a way, you can put it. But then I don't need to do it because I understand that I need to cook fish for so much time, and once it's done, it's like cake tester goes in smooth, done out. But then if I make a sauce separate, it won't have that fishiness to it. But I want that same flavors. Fish sauce, add it exactly the same way your mom made it because it has the same fishiness to it. So now everything comes together. The fish is cooked separate, portion butter or oil or whatever it needs to be, and then sauce the fish. Then top it with trout roe, cream, or beurre blanc, anything. Like it's just
Yeah.
if it's more value to the product, why would I not do it? It comes
Right.
from three different traditions. Thai part using this. Beurre blanc is French and Indian sauce. Cooking this in this technique, but the whole thing is like it's just good. And food
Yeah.
is for me is like it's either good or it's bad. That's it. The authentic, not authentic, you're just justifying it. That does not help. It's either good, tasty, or it's bad, and it's like don't.
I really appreciate you bringing that up. I think of that as the trap of authenticity. And so I really appreciate you saying it's good or it's bad. You can't force people to like it because you're saying that it's authentic. That doesn't matter to anybody. So,
Yeah, and
well,
restaurant is an experience. It's just either you love it or you won't love it. It's fine.
mhm.
Like you don't be mad about if you don't love it.
Right.
It's fine. It's like
Yeah.
that's what it's called an experience. Like
Yeah.
it's like it was a good experience or it was a bad experience. no need, like, people at times get super emotional and they lose it, like, how dare you? I'm like, bro, you don't love it. But then it's again a personal thing, it's one dish is loved by four and not loved by two, so who's right and who's wrong type of situation, like,
Yeah.
it's just a personal taste. You might like it, you might not like it, so yeah.
Well, last question. So you said, 4 years goes by fast, 6 years goes by fast. It seems to me from the outside that you've been very patient in your career, and now you've been presented with, fantastic opportunities. So any advice for maybe line cooks or sous chefs who are listening, who are just dying to get to the next level, about being patient in their career or finding partners they can trust, maybe?
I would say I was patient. I was too, what do you say? I don't even get the word. I guess that's the thing. It's like when you work in restaurants, time goes by very quick. You don't even realize, like, oh, you started when you were like a teen. You're not 30s now. Like, I would say that be patient, keep your calm. When you're young, do as much as you want to. Like, work 18 hours, like, okay, it's fine. Your body can take it. But
Yeah.
the plan you should always have that long term plan. It's
Huh.
restaurant, it's a business. You should always understand where you want to end up. How do you want to do it? So always have a long-term plan, and always work in and as many restaurant as you could. So I think my thing was that I was working at the best restaurant in India,
Mhm.
and leaving that place would be going to number two, so it did not make sense to me to leave it. So I was there for a decade or more. So that's the thing. It's like you don't need it, it's a changing world. You don't need to do that. It will.
Mhm.
My advice would be good for today. It won't be good for tomorrow.
Mhm.
So, but at least I would say that if you need to learn all, as much as you can. Spending a year or two at one restaurant is fine, because the whole thing is you're not there to copy the recipe, you're just there to understand their thought process behind it, how they function, and take the best out of it. And if something that does not make sense to you, don't take it, it's fine, but take the best from them, and then see the whole season, how they cook during summers, winters, what the thought process is during that season, and then move to the next. And
Mhm.
you keep on repeating till the time you're confident about it. And once you think you're confident about it, open a space, but be very humble and start with a humble beginning. It's always good to start small and grow, because doing something directly big, it's a lot of stress, and you don't want to stress out with your first project itself.
Mhm.
So it's always good that you start out small, understand how it is, because that will be a big learning curve for you.
Mhm.
Because you'll be doing hundreds of mistakes. It's better to do it in a small scale than to end
Yeah.
up in a big scale. Yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. And restaurant is not about. I guess when you start your own restaurant, you'll understand it's not about cooking.
Mhm.
Cooking is just a small part of it. It's
Mhm.
about everything else that comes along. It's just like I come to cook every day, and I'm fixing a chair, I'm doing
Yes.
something, I'm trying to. The cooking becomes the last part, like, and I'm running behind it. Like, yeah. And I think it's the whole thing is always have a really good team. Like, try to build up good team. The team is everything. Like, because no matter how good you are, it only matters if your team is the best type situation, because you'll have to move along with them.
Yeah. Chef, thanks so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to connect.
I know. I think next time I need to ask you questions. There are so many questions that I have to ask you.
All right. We'll do it. We'll
But
do it
it's not.
again, and we'll turn the camera around the other way. Absolutely. So that was my conversation with Chef Chetan Shetty. He's got Passerine in New York City. It sounds unbelievable. The space sounds incredible. He's got 4 different menus going at all times. So if you enjoyed that and you would like a little help planning your own business, click the link in the show notes. I built some tools that can help you. Also, please hit the drop down, give us 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are listening. And don't forget to forward this to 2 friends who have a bright, shining future in the restaurant industry. Thanks, y'all. Stay humble, stay hungry.